Hello, my name is Amy and I'm going to tell you the next bit of the story of Daniel. What happened to Daniel and his three friends after that vegetable eating test that you heard about last week? Well, King Nebuchadnezzar was so impressed with the four boys that he promoted them and made them royal advisors, part of a big team of advisors that he had at the palace. And they worked really happily there for a while. But then, one night, King Nebuchadnezzar had a dream. And when he woke up, the king was very worried by his dream when he remembered it. He was sure that this dream meant something really important. So he looked down his list of royal advisors and he looked for the fortune tellers, the magicians, the astrologers, and he called them all to the palace. And he said, "I've had a dream and I need you to tell me what it means." Well, the fortune tellers and magicians said, "Of course, Your Majesty, absolutely, that's our job. We'll tell you what your dream means as soon as you tell us what your dream was." But the king said, no, I don't think so. This dream feels too important to me. And I know that if I just tell you what my dream was, you can make something up that sounds likely. But if you're really good at fortune telling and magic, then you can tell me what my dream was, and then you can tell me what it means. Well, that got the fortune tellers and the magicians rather worried because none of them knew what the king's dream had been. And when they admitted that, the king flew into a rage. He said, "I knew it! I knew you were all fake as the lot of you. You're useless. That's it. I'm going to kill all my royal advisors and start again." Well, that included Daniel and his three friends. So the order for execution was given, and Daniel asked why. And when he found out what the king had wanted and that none of the fortune tellers or magicians had been able to work out what the dream was, Daniel said, "Go to the king and tell him that tomorrow I will tell him what his dream was and what it means." Then he went to his three friends. He said, "Guys, we need to pray. We're going to pray all night that God will save us." And so they did. And that night, Daniel also had a dream, a vision, and it was the king's dream. So the next day, Daniel went to the palace and said, "Your Majesty, King Nebuchadnezzar, I can tell you what your dream was." And this is what it was. "Your Majesty, while you were sleeping, you saw a statue, a big, tall statue of a man, perhaps a king. But the statue was all made of different things. The head of the statue was made of gold. But then the chest and the arms were made of silver. Underneath that, the waist of the statue was bronze. Underneath that, the legs were iron, and at the bottom, in the feet of the statue, the iron was mixed with clay. And in your dream, Your Majesty, you saw a stone come flying from the sky and hit the feet of clay, and the statue fell down and was completely destroyed. Have I got your dream right, Your Majesty?" The king said, "Yes, that's amazing. You know my dream. That's fantastic. Quick, tell me, what does it mean?" And Daniel said, "Well, now, I don't want you to think, Your Majesty, that I know the dream because I'm cleverer or better at magic than any of your advisors. I know the dream because my God is the one who makes plans and knows the future. My God is the only one who can reveal mysteries, and it's God who told me what the dream was. You see, Your Majesty, God is telling you something about the future. The meaning of the dream is all the different empires and kingdoms that will come after you, King Nebuchadnezzar. And the feet of clay of the statue is an empire into which God is going to send something so amazing that it will start God's own kingdom. And when God's own kingdom starts, the rest of those empires will be thrown away, because God's kingdom is strong and lasts forever. Well, King Nebuchadnezzar was so impressed that Daniel knew the dream and knew the meaning of the dream that he promoted him to an even higher position than he'd had before. And he promoted his 3 friends as well at Daniel's request. So they were happy as they were before, but not for long, because King Nebuchadnezzar had other things up his sleeve, which we'll be finding out about next week.